most times people want something in return. And then when they come and ask you for what they want, you'll be like, I did not expect it. Where is this coming from? Hey guys, welcome to our YouTube channel. If you're new here, welcome. Please hit the subscribe button if you're yet to join this family, this growing family, okay? So let's get right into the video of today. So today is going to be a discussion, and that's why I'm trying to get myself as comfortable as possible. So today I'm going to talk about 5 things that we should not tolerate from people. 5 things not to tolerate from people. I always say no one is perfect, no one can be perfect, but we can always try and keep trying, you know. So these rules are actually made recently, and I've been trying to abide by them, and I've actually seen certain improvements in certain areas. So I decided to just come on here and share them. So yeah, let's get into it. So I'm actually going to be starting with ones I feel like are not as serious, and then I'm going to be moving on to other ones I feel like are more serious. So yeah, rule number 1, do not let anybody refer to you as his. I don't even know how they actually make that sound. Like, no, you have to understand that someone has done this to me to actually make me feel like it's very important to add it to my set of rules. I made this rule a long time ago. So if you refer to me by that, I will not be replying. So I feel like if someone calls you by that, what to do not reply. If it's a situation where you feel like you really need to reply, then you correct them first. You can tell them, don't refer to me by that. Don't call me that. If they know your name, you can tell them, you know my name. Do not call me that. Sternly, do not laugh, do not smile, because it's not a joke. On certain occasions where you're on the road and then there are strangers or maybe bus conductors and everything, you can't teach everybody in this world manners actually. So I feel like in that situation, me personally, if I'm in the mood, or if I'm not in the mood, or I do not have time for that, I'll just check myself. Do I have my phone? Do I have my keys? Do I have my purse? Anything that fell, let it stay missing. But on certain occasions, I may just look and just give them audience and like let them say what they have to say. If I feel like what they have said does not require a reply, I just do not reply. I look forward and I go my way, and that's it. I feel like that attitude is barbaric. I just see you as someone who's not very educated. Even if you're in a restaurant and you want to call, like you want to beckon on the waiter or something, just say, excuse me, please excuse me. That's more, it's more classy, more sane. Rule number 2, do not let people raise their voice at you. You're not a child. Do not let people raise their voice at you. What to do in this occasion: if it's someone you're having an argument with or someone you know, just let them know calmly. You don't have to get pissed. You can tell them you're raising your voice or something like that. If it's someone like in a place where you feel like maybe a waiter or a receptionist or a cashier, someone like that, just tell them, do not raise your voice with me. If you're having an argument with someone, try as much as possible not to raise your voice back, because then it just turns into like a shouting competition. Certain people will actually take correction and just reduce the volume of their voice, but certain people will be like, I'm not shouting, I'm not raising my voice, while raising their voice even higher. Let them know that there's certain things they cannot do with you. If they want to do that to other people, fine, do you, but not me, hon, not me. So that's rule number 2, and I feel like it's actually very important to check people when they start to raise their voice with you. You're not a dog, you're not a child. Let them speak respectfully when they talk to you. I said I was going to be going from things I feel like are less important to more important rules, and this is rule number 3. So rule number 3 would be, do not let anybody belittle your accomplishments. We have experienced situations like this, and I feel like I'm certainly not the only one. So I decided to come on here and share it and tell you, do not let people belittle what you've achieved. I just started YouTube And then certain people will be like, oh, so you just have 300 subscribers. Look at that person. She has 1 million, or she has 500,000 or something like that, just to make you feel like what you have achieved is not enough, or you shouldn't feel any form of satisfaction. Do not let people do that to you. I have a situation. There's this point when I was really trying to make changes towards myself, trying to be a better person, trying to appear better, trying to look better. And then there's this friend of mine, she just came to me with a picture of someone else who obviously I think was in a better position than me. And then she said, look at this person, you feel jealous, right? I was shook. I'm like, you're a human being, why don't you go do the same? You're a human being, go achieve what the other person has achieved. Do not disturb me with that. And she just, that was that. And I feel like that shut her up. Like, what are you trying to gain from that? I feel like most often it comes from a point of jealousy. It comes from a point of jealousy. In this kind of situation, I feel like I'm content with my accomplishment. I'm content with where I am, and I'm striving for better. So I don't let talks like that get to me. There's this thing called triangulation, where someone brings in a third party just to belittle what you have, to incite jealousy, or to just make funny comparisons. Do not let people do that to you. One thing I'll also say that's actually very important is, if you feel like someone does not have a certain thing, do not rub your own thing in their face. It's just like going to tell a barren woman what your children have been doing for you, or going to tell someone who has been in 10 failed stalking stages in the past 2 months. You're going to go and tell them what your boyfriend is doing as he's flying you to Paris and flying you to Dubai. Nah, you do not do that. Honestly, I feel like we have to be sensitive and try not to rub our accomplishment in other people's faces, because what they do is they try to belittle it just to make themselves feel better. Do not rub your accomplishments in anybody's face. Make moves and make them in silence and all of that. But I feel like there are certain occasions where people can obviously see the changes you're making, and they're definitely going to come for you. Do not let that get to you. It's happened to me on several occasions. I feel like it's not something I've actually heard being talked about a whole lot, and that's why I actually decided to come and talk about it on here, and I added it to my set of rules on here. There are certain occasions where a man feels like you're too good for him, and then he tries to make you feel smaller. Try to pick certain insecurities that he thinks you have, pick certain things he feels you're insecure about, and then try to rub it in your face so that you feel smaller and smaller. It's not just about men doing it to women. Women can do it to men, friends can do it to friends. It could just happen like that. Do not let it get to you. I feel like shun them immediately. In this situation, in this occasion, tell them not to do that with you. Tell them sternly. No smiling, we're not joking, we're not kidding here. Tell them sternly, do not do that with me. I feel like it's a subtle form of manipulation, and they do not expect you to actually see what they're doing. But once you realize, or want to start to feel this way, tell them, I know what you're doing, do not do that with me. Rule number 4. Rule number 4, do not let people pressure you into doing things you do not want to do. I feel like one way to actually realize this is to ask yourself, why am I doing this? It's very important. And giving yourself an answer like, because I want to, that's good enough reason. So if your group of friends is always asking you, let's go on girls trip, let's go on guys night out, let's do this, let's do that, ask yourself, why am I going? If the answer is because I want to, I feel like it's good enough reason, then sure, go. If the answer is something like, I want to go because I don't want them to think I don't have money, then ask yourself, do you have money? If the answer is yes, then why are you trying to prove anything to anybody? If the answer is no, then why are you going to spend money you don't have? If you're going to hang out with friends and if you do not want to go and you're like, no, I think I should go because I value their friendship and I've declined their invitation on previous occasions or something like that, and I think I want to go because I value their friendship and I do not want to lose it, I feel like it's good enough reason to want to go because their friendship brings you some form of happiness or joy. It makes you happy. So you actually want to make extra effort towards preserving it. I feel like that's good enough reason to want to do certain things. But because this person wants me to do it, or because this person will not be happy if I don't do it, do not do that. When you do certain things like this, when you do things you want to do, when you regret them, you understand that you made these decisions because you wanted to. It's worse when you regret something that someone made you do. That's worse actually. So do not do that. Let's not make that mistake. Okay, we're grown, we're adults, we're being intentional. We're asking ourselves important questions. Why am I doing this? I feel like that's very important. We need to ask ourselves, why are we doing this? Why am I doing this? Setting every single action in our life because it makes me happy. That's good enough reason. Because I like it. That's good enough reason. Because I want to. That's reason enough. Don't go doing certain things because certain people are pressuring you into doing it. Just do not do that. Don't do that. So like I said, I'm actually really trying. I'm making effort into like following these rules, even in my day-to-day activities. There's this time a couple of weeks ago, I went to get something from a store, and then I saw Starbucks and I'm like, oh, I like Starbucks. You know, it came in a very small bottle. So I put it on the counter, and then she was like, then I asked how much was it, and she said it was, I think, about 5,000 naira. That's almost $10. To me, it was too much, but I understand. But I still wanted to buy it regardless. Then I had to ask myself, why am I buying this? Am I okay taking a gulp of coffee for 5,000 naira? I had to answer honestly, and the answer was no. Why would I want to drink a gulp of coffee for 5,000 naira? So I had to ask myself, like, okay, why am I doing this then? And then I answered myself, I was like, because I really do not want them to think like I do not have money or I cannot afford it. I'm like, Blossom, take that drink, put it back in the fridge. You do not want it, do not buy it. So I feel like it's not like pressure. They're not saying get it, but me trying to do certain things because of what people would say, how people would feel, or what they would think. That's not reason enough. That's not good enough reason. So I just literally had to just put the drink back in the fridge, and that was that. It was not direct pressure, but I feel like I really needed to ask myself, why was I going to buy that drink when it did not sit down well with me? Do I have a lot of money? No, I don't. I feel like certain people may say, oh, this is small, like what's that, blah, blah, blah. But doing certain things like this, understanding the reason you do certain things is very important and actually stops you from making a whole lot of mistakes. And that's it. Rule number 5, do not let people make you feel like you're being used. I feel like that feeling of like when you feel like you're being used, I feel like that's the worst feeling ever. There are certain, like, let me give you certain instances. Like now there's this guy you're seeing, but he only wants to see you in the middle of the night. This guy only wants to see you by 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. He doesn't want to see you where human beings are actually awake. And when you actually go to his place and then he gets the thing he actually wants, and then in the early morning, he's always rushing somewhere. Hey, babe, I have to rush to this. So it's either his work when it's like a work morning. If it's weekend, it's like, I have to go to a naming. I have to go to a wedding. He never invites you for any of these things. Never, ever. He's always like, oh, I want to rush there. I want to rush there. And then you know that you have to leave. So you leave. So you don't even spend quality time. You don't have meaningful conversations. You do not go on meaningful dates. You don't even see him you don't see him at times where people are actually awake. You're with this certain guy and that only wants to see you when the witches are crawling. And then you're like, he's my boyfriend. We've been together for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. And then you feel like, no, I can't leave now because we've been together for so long. And one thing I always tell myself is, if you decide to keep going because you've gone so far, you're only going to go further. So it's better to always put an end to it immediately you realize. Immediately you start to have doubts, immediately you have to start to have concerns. You can actually try talking to that person in situations where you do not really understand what's going on, or you feel like having a conversation would actually help issues. But in certain occasions, like what I just talked about right now, it's the best to just put a stop to it. Because yeah, you see what that person is coming for, you feel used. So yeah, why keep going? Why continue with it? Forget about a guy doing it to a girl. Let's talk about a girl doing it to a guy. There's this girl, she's always calling you when she needs something. That's the only time she actually calls you. She does not care what you're doing, and certain times she does not even call you. When you call her, she's always in need of something. You do not feel like you're making any real connection. You guys are not making any real connection. You're not doing any real thing. You understand that you like her. Yes, you have feelings towards her, but you feel used because there's always something she's in need of. She's in dire need of something. Or you have a group of friends and you're always going out, and each time you guys hang out, you're always the one footing the bills. You go out with your friends, you go clubbing with your friends, and they're always the first to order champagne, Moët, rosé, azul. They're always the one to order, and when it's time to pay, they always look to you to pay because they feel like, boss, big boss, you have money, blah 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 blah, and they always make you pay. Sometimes you understand that they may not have as much as you do, but then you're like, you can't help but feel used because they don't invite you to anything meaningful. It's just to go clubbing or spend money and then have you foot the bill. In occasions like you may be like, I'm doing this, like I said, takes us back to what I said about people pressuring you into doing certain things or people making you do certain things. You ask yourself, do I enjoy these outings we go on? You probably may not even be having fun. And then you're doing this because you really want them to respect you. I feel like in that occasion, the respect that you're even looking for, you will not get it. The funny thing is you will not get it. They're going to see you like, oh, I'm using this person, I'm that, yeah, this person does not have sense, yeah, I'm the one with all the sense. That's actually a very funny thing. What gives you respect is not doing things that people want you to do or being Mr. Nice Guy. That does not actually bring any respect towards you or make people respect you. That it's funny enough, it's the exact opposite. That's how it works. I really do not know why. You go out with your girlfriends and they always want you to pay because they feel like she has the most money. The funny thing is that you may not actually have the most money. You do not know how much they have, so you can't actually tell. But they always want to make you pay. I feel like in this kind of situation, you can tell them, I think we should actually pay for whatever we have, and that's what I do when I go out with my girlfriends. Whatever, you can order heaven on earth. You could actually tell them to bring a plate from heaven to you, but you'll pay for that. You foot your bill, every other person foots their own bill or something like that. And I feel like it works that way, so nobody is feeling used. If the roles were reversed and you're a girl and your friends, they're always taking you out and footing the bill and all of that, on certain occasions you can actually decide to chip in something. You could decide to take them somewhere that may not be as expensive or somewhere that you can afford. Let them understand that you're actually making effort. You're not just going to be a leech. That's a position that I don't think anybody wants to be in. Another another scenario is, let's assume someone is housing you. You're squatting with that person and you're not paying rent. You're not contributing towards the rent or anything. You can contribute towards little things. You can clean the space, not just the space that they assigned to you, but a general space. You can actually decide to take a broom, clean it, buy little things that you guys share in the house, like maybe laundry detergent, dishwashing soap, certain things like that. Just buy them, let them understand that you appreciate what they're doing. We understand that you do not have a lot of money, that's why you can actually not get your own house, but let them see that in your little way, you are showing appreciation for them housing you. And so do not let anybody use you, and also you do not be a user. They have this one friend that's always spending. Sometimes you too chip in something. Someone told me that a loan you repay, but a gift you are beholden. don't take unnecessary gifts from people. Let me talk about that. Do not take unnecessary gifts from people because you do not know what you're meant to pay back. So when people do certain things for you, reciprocate, do something for them. Maybe not up to if you cannot, but do something. Let them see you appreciate, because it may be like, oh, they're just doing it, but in their mind they may be feeling used. Do not make them feel that way. Show them you appreciate, reciprocate in some way or the other. That unnecessary gift something self. You could have this guy you're talking to, and then he's always offering to buy you something or offering to send you money. It may be a platonic relationship, and then this guy is always asking you, sending you money or something like that. You could have a guy at work, he's always buying you food, he's always doing this. You may be thinking he's just doing it out of the kindness of his heart, but most times people want something in return. And then when they come and ask you for what they want, you be like, I did not expect it. Where is this coming from? All the free food you've been eating, Nunka, he will not be like, you must do this for me, because I've been feeding you in this office. Maybe he's bought you food twice or 3 times, and then he's requesting for something else, and you don't know where this is coming from, not knowing that he's been doing that thing in expecting something in return, expecting that someday he's going to ask you for something in return. So yeah, do not collect unnecessary gifts from people. Do not do that. Do not let people. Do not collect. If you're not in dire need of that thing, do not collect it. And if you decide to still be collecting that thing that they are giving you, when they ask you for what they want, do not sound surprised. It may not always be sex. It may be something else. Do not sound surprised. Really, do not expect it. You understand that I'm not saying cut them up, they are bad people, they are terrible people, X them out of your life, cutting them out of my slice like pizza. There's a quote like that, I think. Do not do that. Cutting them out of my circle like pizza or something. I'm not saying that because not everybody's entirely good, not everybody's entirely evil. I feel like try to correct them, and when they do not take correction, that's when you can actually decide, do you still want that relationship? Do you still want that friendship? And then you could actually take actions because of the conclusion you've actually reached. So yeah, there are times when I'm not talking to only victims here. We all cannot be victims. We can also be the one doing these things to certain people. We can be pressuring people into doing certain things. We can be using people. We can be disrespectful, raising our voices. And yeah, so I feel like as much as you do not want anybody to do this to you, do not do this to someone else. Try not to belittle people's accomplishments. Do not do that. I feel like even when we feel some form of jealousy towards people, what I do, because jealousy is a normal human feeling, does not mean you're a witch. Jealousy is a normal feeling. What I do is I try to step back. I try to just remove myself from that scenario. If it's social media, I just put you on mute. I mute you so I don't see you. And then I try to work on myself. Try to make sure you improve yourself. Try to make sure you're better or you're being a better person. So I'm not saying cut them off or something like that. When you feel some form of jealousy, I do feel like it's best to just step back, take time out for yourself, try to improve yourself in whatever way you think you can. Feeling jealousy does not make you a witch. What you do with that feeling is what makes you one. Let's not all feel like victims. We can actually be doing we can actually be doing 1 or 2 of these things to other people. Let's check ourselves and let's also try not to. So yeah, that's going to be the end of this video today. I'll catch you in my next video, okay? Let me know what you think about this. Let me know what your opinions are. Please let this be a conversation. Like I said, I wanted us to have a discussion, so let it feel like one. Let it feel like a conversation, okay? So let me know what you think, what your thoughts are in the comment section. Let me know any of these things you've actually experienced and how you feel about them or how you've handled them, because I also would like to learn and all of that. So yes, I'll see you in my next video. Till then, bye.